What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Overboy, and I'm going to be doing my review for the 2009 movie X-Men Origins Wolverine. So, this is a standalone prequel to the X-Men franchise, which follows Wolverine's origins and how he got started. And everything. It like shows his childhood and how he got enlisted to William Stryker's Team X, and how he got the adamantium skeleton, and the relationship with his half-brother Victor, who is also known as Sabretooth. This movie is very, very, very mediocre. I know a lot of people talk about how terrible it is. I don't think it's quite as bad as most people say it is, but it is one of my least favorite X-Men movies. It has a lot of good stuff in here. The performance from Hugh Jackman is amazing. Like, he carries the movie really well. I think he gives a great performance in here, but the story is just really lackluster, and they bring in a bunch of new characters that just, they don't have any development and a lot of personality and stuff. So it doesn't really do a lot for the story and everything. It doesn't really work very well. The cast is fine for their roles and everything. The new cast members are fine, but none of them really stand out very well. Liev Schreiber, who plays Sabretooth in this, they give Sabretooth a much better personality than they had in the first movie. But I just don't really like Liev Schreiber's version of the character, because he just doesn't have a lot to do. He's just not the best one of the best villains. Danny Houston is William Stryker is fine. He's not the best, but he's fine for the role, and everything. But he's not super great. And then you got other New Mutants like the Blob and a few other ones. None of them really stand out. The one that stands out the most is Deadpool, and that's just because this was like before the Deadpool we know, and a lot of the best jokes from those movies come at the expense of making fun of this version of the character, where he gets his mouth sewn shut. He's very watered down and pretty terrible. Ryan Reynolds, you can tell, is trying the best with what he had to work with, but this is definitely not the Deadpool we know and love now, and everything. And that was one of the biggest mistakes that this movie did, was the way they did him. He just was not handled very well and everything. I thought he was just not a very good Wolverine. But this is a decent movie and everything. I wish we could have gotten a better Wolverine movie where he teams up with Deadpool or something. I don't know that we ever will, and if we do, it probably won't be Hugh Jackman, which hopefully it won't, because Logan is the perfect ending for Hugh Jackman's time as the character. Personally, I kind of hope we don't ever see Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine, even though it would be cool to see him. I'm not gonna lie. I hope they keep Logan the way it was for him anyway. I know they're not with Patrick Stewart, but and speaking of Patrick Stewart, you get a little cameo that kind of felt forced. Them having Cyclops and stuff in here at the very end of it, it just felt forced. It didn't need to be in here. It's kind of cool and stuff, I guess, but it just didn't really have to be in this movie and everything. But for what it is, I think the X-Men Origins Wolverine is just very mediocre. Like I said, Hugh Jackman's performance is really the best thing about the movie, and it has some really, really terrible CGI. Like, all the X-Men movies that came before it hold up way better than this movie. And that should say something, seeing this movie came out in 2009 and the other ones came out sooner. But yeah, this is a good enough movie, but it for what it is, I mean, like I said, it's not god awful, but it's not super great either. It's very, very mediocre. I can handle watching it when I'm watching the X-Men franchise, but it's never one that I really just want to go out of my way to watch just because I'm in the mood for a movie with Wolverine. If I'm going to want to watch just a Wolverine movie, I'd go watch Logan. But for what it is, the X-Men Origins Wolverine is okay. Yeah, I'd say I'd give it a 5 out of 10. It's like I said, I can handle watching it. It's just not something I like watching very much. It has so many problems. The dialogue isn't the best. The story isn't the best either. It could have been so much better, but for what it is, it's okay. And that's really about it. So I say it's worth watching if you're a fan of the X-Men franchise and you want to see all of them, if you're a completionist like me. But it's not one that you have to rush out and see. They kind of erase it from the timeline anyway in a few movies later, so it's not like anything super special or a must watch, but it's okay for what it is. But anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of X-Men Origins Wolverine. I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.